All right, says I'm live. It's still blinking though. We're probably going to wind up with unstable connection again. Well, we'll find out what happens. You know, wouldn't that'd be just about right, wouldn't it? It's the way it always goes. The internet is fine right up until the point where we need it, and then it's not fine. Hi, Carol. Something. Hi, Cheryl. So maybe it'll hold this time. Who knows? Anyway, that's the whole thing. I was just figured I wanted to see if I'm the only one that's thinking Agenda 21 stuff or other weird conspiracy stuff. You know, don't trust the cops, that kind of thing. And I trust the cops. You know, I don't think cops are bad. I think cops are good guys mostly. There's some bad eggs out there, but there's some bad electricians out there too. So it just depends on who you bump into, I guess. So anyway, yes, conspiracy stuff. What do you got, CL? You got something good? And CL, I don't know if you know it. My little brother is a respiratory therapist registered. He works at both hospitals up in Amarillo, which is north of us by about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And he said he's actually in fear of losing his job because they got nothing going on right now. He says they're just about completely dead. And his wife works as a nutritionist there as well. And they're both concerned because they are so dead. There is nothing going. Shalisa, my gal. Hey, gal, how are you? Waiting for a doctor call. Hey, if you're at the doctor's, you be careful. Good luck with it. Good luck with it. Let us know what goes on. I was going to watch your Fatwood video. If y'all haven't ever watched Shalisa's videos, she is like total creative with the stuff she does. She does the coolest things. She'll do videos where there's three Shalisas on screen playing different parts, interacting. I don't know how she does it. I do good to turn my computer on, and she does that kind of stuff. She's great. Um, where was I going with that? I lost track. What was I talking about? Oh, my little brother working at a hospital. He said there's nothing going on up there. He said there's no sick people. There's nobody with uh, the video stuff. I'm trying to read and do. Uncle Al, good to see you, brother. Wondered how you've been. Anyway, there's no big rush on the hospitals like they are telling us. There's a whole lot of nothing going on. The numbers don't add up. They're faking the numbers. All of you know by now they're faking the numbers. They were told that woman who I can't remember her name, one of the head health people in the country, literally encouraged authorities to call something a death due to coronavirus, even if it had nothing to do with it. What does Wayne say? I don't trust them. They proven to be traitors out here. Really? Cops to shut down small bit. Yeah, Wayne, I agree, man. It's when they follow orders like that, it's it's hard to trust them. And CL, you didn't miss much of anything. Um, I said hi to Shalisa and I just a couple of things like that, so we didn't cover much. But I was talking about my little brother working at the hospital, being there. He's been there for 25 years, probably working for the two big ones up there. And he says there's just nothing going on. Of course, he says one of the good things about it now is they don't have snippy patients and family of patients blowing them crap and trying to act like they know more about his job than he does. He said that hadn't been all bad. So there you go. Brad, my man, I didn't call you the other day. I was supposed to call you that afternoon. I didn't. I'm sorry about that. I hadn't called Matt. I've got several people I'm supposed to call and haven't called. Do you want to come say hi? Huh? A whole bunch of people. I'm doing a live stream. You should come say hi. Sarah. Hey, Will. How are you, brother? And now, just for record, Cheryl, when I'm talking about cops, I even mentioned ex-cops and retired cops. And I mentioned there's good ones and bad ones. Cheryl's husband is a retired cop from the Air Force. And Cheryl said hi. Hi, Sue. I hadn't seen your name in a long time. Cheryl's husband was a good guy, you know, but even he knew that he had to follow orders, except he had the integrity to realize there were starting to be a lot of things he couldn't. BL said she caught that. So, yeah, you probably didn't miss anything. Oh, yay, my parts came in at the supply house. It was good. I need to go pick those up today. Got a big job I'm working on. Was a good guy. Yes, Cheryl, he was a good guy. You know, see, when we were over at y'all's house the other day and he didn't offer me anything to drink, he wasn't a good guy that day. That's a joke, of course. But if we're teasing him, I'm going to say yes, was a good guy. Hey, Gunslinger. Good to see you too. So anyway, all that to say, just there's a lot of strange things happening out there. There are meat packing plants shutting down left and right. There is a strong chance that the food supply chain is going to get disrupted sometime in the next 3 or 4 weeks. Now, whether it will or not, who knows? We have a really good food supply chain here. Oh, are we buffering again, Carol? Rats, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, I won't keep this going real long. I'll probably get it. Like I say, I do have stuff I need to be doing. This is just an experiment and something to try and see. I saw there was nobody else live and figured it'd be a good time to just say hi to everybody. Way worse coming, Brad. Yeah, I suspect that's true. I suspect that's true. Again, my little brother, there's a meat packing plant, big one, just north of Amarillo, up by a town called Cactus. That, oh, not buffering here. Okay, good. Another meat packing plant that makes 3 that I've heard shut down in the last 2 days. 1 or 2 here, and 1 up in the north, Mideast, Midwest, whatever they call that part of the world up there somewhere. So yeah, strong chance of that. And then of course you got that idiot psychotic governor up in Michigan. Is it Michigan, Minnesota? I don't remember where she is. That says you can't buy seeds, that gardening is not an essential activity. Who knows what's going on with that? People talking about lack of patience. Get that many, not needed. Yeah, CL, I don't know where you are. I know, I'm pretty sure you work at a hospital somewhere in nursing. That's what I think anyway. So I'd wondered actually a couple of days ago. I wondered about what you were seeing where you are. Michigan, yeah, I thought so, Uncle Al. 5, wow. I didn't know you can chat on here. See, Cheryl, you learned something from me. I'm a teacher. Yeah, she is crazy, Sue. I mean, that's insanity. Absolutely. And you know, our governor Abbott here in Texas. I saw the blinky thing again. I love our governor, but even he is not doing things that make a whole lot of sense. They reopened state parks. They should have never shut down state parks, but they reopened state parks, and you can go out there, but only in groups of 5, and you have to wear a mask outside. Meanwhile, at Walmart and some of the big grocery stores, there's all kinds of people milling around. Nobody's got a mask on, and there's dang sure more than 5. And even better, go to the Subway to get a sandwich. Went and got a tuna sandwich the other day, and the girl is leaning over the food, doing everything. No mask, nothing like that. I was more worried about the little sores on her lip than I was any coronavirus she might have had. Yes, CL, everybody needs to learn. Absolutely, they do. Absolutely. Brad, being culled, man, maybe. Back to the Agenda 21 thing, where they're trying to cull out people and make nature more important than people are. Man, don't get me wrong, I'm a big nature guy. I love nature. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, are you in Boston, CL? I did not know that. I did not know that. I thought you were further west than that. Ooh, I'm sorry. I like Boston. In fact, some years ago, I spent about 4 weeks on Cape Cod doing some remodeling on a house there. East Dennis, I think, was the town I was in. I loved it. I made it to the beach one time while I was there. I did it wrong. Brad, Boston, huh? Gee, you don't sound like you're from Boston at all. Oh my gosh. Norwell and Nantucket. Yep, exactly. Oh man. Good girl, CL. Move west. I would recommend Texas. We're still not completely out of control here. So anyway, like I said, I just wanted to mention that. I'm going to move. I'll mention something else that was more on the fun side. That seems not everything that seems conspiratorial and crazy turns out to really be that. A few nights ago, Christy, was it last Thursday night? The satellites? Maybe Friday. Anyway, last week one day, I went outside. I had been out in my shop until after dark. The way I typically do things, I know it's time to come in the house when it gets dark. That's my key. I don't watch a clock very much. And I came up, drove around from behind out the shop, drove up to the front yard, got out, realized I needed to feed the dogs. Even though I was tired, it was almost 10 o'clock. And because I live in the country, I have to come inside if I need to go to the bathroom because I live in the country. Even if I didn't live in the country, I don't think I'd care. But I happen to look up in the sky and I see a couple of satellites. Now, ever since I was a little kid, I would lay out in the front yard. I've always liked camping and sleeping outside. And my dad and I, yep, Cheryl saw him. My dad and I would lay out. My dad didn't believe in tents. At least we never used one. Well, we'd throw a big blanket out on the ground, roll our sleeping bags or just some blankets out there and just sleep out in the yard and he'd teach me constellations and we'd look for satellites and things like that. Now, back in the 60s, in the early to mid 60s, when I was a little kid, there weren't as many satellites. So we had to work a little harder to spot them. Now it's pretty easy. But that's right, Brad. There's a grow light. And it's not turned on. Squirrel. So anyway, looked up the other night while I was out there enjoying nature, or the call of nature at least, and I spotted a couple of satellites and I thought, oh, how cool. And then I looked and there was a third one. And then I realized they were all three, one after the other, in the same trajectory, going the same direction. And I thought, that's kind of cool. I don't know if I've ever seen that. And then there was a fourth one. And then there was another one. And I was like, holy cow. So I called Christy and Sarah, and I called a buddy of mine, and we wound up calling a couple of people. By the time we finished watching them, there were 20, how many? 28? We think there were about 28 of them all in a row. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it's the Chinese. They're lining us up. I knew it wasn't, but it was fun to say it that way. Turns out there was a SpaceX launch that afternoon where they deployed in one launch 60 satellites. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know they could do that. But it was fun to watch, though, and it was fun to think about. Hemophilic with paper cut. Oh my gosh. Anyway, that was just a fun little short thing I figured I'd share with you. Go out and look at the constellations. Tonight they're supposed to be, satellite convoy. Tonight they're supposed to be the last of the Lyrids, I think. We're in the constellation of Lyra, which is a harp from Greek. This is all Greek stuff where the constellations got named. It's going to come up in the north, probably just behind the Big Dipper, and it'll work its way up. Somewhere around midnight, it'll be at the top, and the belt of debris that we go through. There might be aliens, DP. We can hope. Good to see you, brother. Anyway, so there'll be some shooting stars to go out and look at tonight. Maybe we're not in a real strong spot of it, but the Lyrids are supposed to be good because they're usually the ones that are more likely to leave a trail. Some comets just are a flash and they're gone. Some of them hit and they leave a sparkly trail behind them. Well, the Lyrids are the ones that do that, and so that'll be fun to go out and look for tonight. More hail. No power. Binary blackout. Really, Brad? I'd like to hear more about that. How about that? I'm reading comments. Sorry, I have to do that again. Hailing again. You just type HH, but it must be happy here. Yeah. Cheryl, next time, aliens, okay? We'll make that happen. Storm, yeah, you know what? I guess they would. Storms will do that. Boy, Chipper, I'm jealous. Y'all gotten so much good rain, and we need it so bad right now. Chipper, we've got a couple little, I don't know if you know what a playa lake is. A playa lake is a low spot around here that just naturally collects water and has for centuries. And typically it's where wildlife is able to go and get a drink reliably. Well, all the playa lakes are just about dry here right now. In fact, one of the one that I let the crawdads go into, is done. There's no water in it. It's still muddy out in the middle, but the water is gone. Windy and cold. Brad, I don't know if you saw a while ago, we got snow last week, and Monday it's going to be 95, and 2 days after it snowed, it was 90 degrees. Uh, Great mind, CL. I've known that about you for a while. Hey, you got your chickens. Yay. Dude, did you get baby chicks or did you get grown? And what breed? This is Trent. Yeah, Trent. I don't see much from him. Instagram. If you look for Trent, he is on Instagram. His name is Lucky Hat. Team Lucky Hat. Is it? He's changed his name so many times it's hard to keep up. Aid, I don't even think y'all have Everclear there, do you? And by the way, Brad, why do you water glass your eggs? Tell me that to keep them from drying out. I'll talk about eggs while Brad's typing in his thoughts and comments. Yeah, babies, 3 ISA Browns and 2 Golden Comets. I don't know either of those breeds. But cool, that's a good start though. That's a good start. We've had a lot of chicks hatching out here. Some of our mamas are not real good mamas. We had one chick that had 8 or 10 babies with her. The next day she had one left. They were dead baby chicks everywhere. They couldn't keep up with her and they froze to death. Or didn't freeze, but yeah, I didn't think so, Aid. Hydrated lime and water. Okay. For people that talk about egg preservation, a lot of people think that your eggs will get rotten if they sit on the counter. The only reason an egg gets rotten is if it was starting to form a chick. If it was a fertilized egg that had an embryo in it growing and it got pulled out. I've done that a couple of times myself. Otherwise, eggs don't go bad. Not as we think of as bad. What they do is they dry out. We've had eggs on the counter like when we're just completely covered up. Hey, I'm gonna get rid of that glare back there. No, I'm not gonna turn the computer because that screen work. We've had eggs that sit out long enough that you break it open and you can't hardly get the yolk or the white out because it has dried to the point. Eggshells are porous. They let air through. And bloom? Brad, the bloom? I've never heard that term. I don't know what that means. Now, if it might mean that you don't wash the eggs. We don't wash our eggs. We really don't. We don't ever wash our eggs. Yeah, leave them on the counter. Don't exactly, CL, and they'll last. Yeah, they'll last until they absolutely dry out. So I'm guessing that that's what Brad is doing. Is just putting a preservative on his that keeps them from drying out. Now, I would worry that if they don't get some air to them, that would make them go bad. I don't know. That's interesting. And I've heard of water glassing, but I never knew what that meant. We loads, but wait, what? Wait, what did Age say? Everclear. I guess Everclear loads better. I don't know. Okay, yeah, Brad, that's what I thought it probably was. To 2 years, really, if you really water glassing them makes them last 2 years. Now, Brad, if you water glass them, then do you refrigerate them or are they still okay just out on the counter? I'll have to look into that. Also, talk about learning experiences. Happy Hair and I learned that some batches of sauerkraut aren't like other batches of sauerkraut. I went to get some last night and it had molded. We've never had sauerkraut mold before. I don't know why it did that. That was distressing because I had my taste buds set for a little bite. I wasn't going to get much in a bucket cup. Oh, that got you, Aid. Yes, of course, the glare. Yeah. Let me see if I can let that down. Maybe I can get it. The problem is if I let it down, it doesn't always go that. I broke something. I don't know what. Get over there. All right, that'll have to do. All right, is that any better at all? Not really. Weird. I figured it would be. Temperature not a concern. Okay, yeah, I didn't think so, Brad. I didn't think the temperature was a concern. Leave them in the lime water. Leave them in the lime water. I don't think so. Send me the. Really? You leave them submerged? I figured it was just a coating that went on them. Oh, you leave them submerged in lime water, Brad? That can't be right. That can't be right. That would have to be bad for them. Huh. Wow. Pro tip, don't eat the floaters. Chip, not always true. Not always true. We have found out that the ones that float doesn't necessarily mean they're bad. A lot of times, what did we decide it finally meant? They were older? Okay. Yeah. Just that they were a little older. But another pro tip that for sure is good, if you have fresh eggs, you have two containers. You break the eggs into this one, see if it's good. If it's good, pour it over here. Do the next one. Because I can't tell you how many times I've gotten confident and thinking, oh, my eggs are all good. My eggs are all good. I'll just break them all together, and then I get a nasty one in there. But hey, Bob, I didn't see you pop in. Good to see you, brother. I have been doing all kinds of research on rivers and river rights and things like that. Bob here, but it doesn't know it lives close to a river. In fact, he's got property on a river. So trying to see what the laws were if I ever wanted to sneak onto his land and try to go get me a pig or something. I bet he wouldn't miss a pig. Bob, you wouldn't miss a pig, would you? Check, see if we eat the store-bought eggs, the floating. So that's not a thing. No, CL, it doesn't seem to be a thing. Now, sometimes there'll be a bad one that way, but we've gotten bad ones that didn't float either. So there's the best way to check an egg, crack it open, see what's inside. Yep. Mark a lot of them. Bob, are y'all getting any rain down there? We need rain up here so bad. John Mallory. Delaware chickens. See, our chickens probably they're probably in the breed that we've got out there because they are all so interbred. There's no telling what we've got, but as long as they lay eggs, whether they're brown, white, green, pink, I see we're attracting all the finest people here today. I like that. I like that. Some good names, some good channels on here too. A lot of good people. That's a good thing. What time is it? 2:11. That's not too bad. Yeah, 6 months. It can be 6 months. It depends on conditions. Some chickens will start laying early. Some of them, we've had plenty that took anywhere from 9 months to a year before they were starting to lay. And a lot of times I think it depending on what we fed them. Agreed, Brad. Agreed. Disagreed, Cheryl. Disagree. Thank you. Yeah, we've had some that take a while. We don't feed our chickens a whole lot. We let them forage for themselves quite a bit. When I need, usually in the springtime, late winter, or even during the winter, if I want to kind of get them laying again, if they've quit, then I'll buy some commercial layer pellets, usually Purina, Layina, and I'll feed them a bunch of that. And that seems to kind of some of the different things that are added to it. I don't think there's anything bad in them, but it tends to get them up and going again. Thank you, Cheryl. I've been wrong before. I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken, so I guess it didn't matter. Oh, excuse me for clearing my throat. I'm doing like Steve Smith. Steve, Integrated Preparedness, if any of y'all watch him, Steve's a good guy. He's an author. He's got some pretty good books. Let me go ahead and pump his books on here while I'm talking about it. He's got the Stonemont series, which are very well written books. I like the way he did it. They're not crazy dystopian fiction. They're just kind of good, thoughtful things to think about. Truly good, good books. And Steve, from what I can tell, is a good guy. Steve is another one of those that's an ex-cop. And so he talks about the good cops and the bad cops, and he doesn't have a lot of respect for the bad ones, I can tell you that. But what made me think of him is me clearing my throat. Every once in a while, I get some junk in my throat here because I live in, where I do, I suppose. And so I have to clear my throat now because some people teased him about it. He got self-conscious about it. Now I've gotten self-conscious about it. So another drink of orange juice. Can you believe I'm drinking just plain orange juice? I have no additives in there. What's wrong with me? Ah, wipe my mustache. Happy Hair might want to come give me a kiss. And when she does, if I've got a wet mustache, she wipes it back on me. That's just rude. Actually, it's not, Brad. It's fresh. Although I found a corn dog in my pickup. I found a corn dog. So that may be one of the next videos. Yeah, corn dog's not. It's only about a week old, but it's still moist. It was good and greasy, so it'll be fine. Oh, I'm also actually water classes. See, how do you live in Boston and are able to have chickens? I wouldn't have thought they would let you have them there unless you're out rural a little bit, which I hope you are. Don't know. The old corn dog is fine, CL. I'm telling you, food doesn't go bad. People think food goes bad. It may look bad. Sometimes it may taste bad. But suburb, okay, good. I'll throw it to some elixir. Cheryl, I've got some elixir. I've even got a little bit more Dr. Rob's magic elixir. That's what you're talking about, isn't it? Dr. Rob's magic elixir. Yes, I've got some more of that. John, why do you miss orange juice? Why can't you have orange juice, brother? I'm gonna go plug in my grow light since I have one. It would be the thing to do, right? Ding. By the way, we're getting about to. Okay. I probably should do that too, John. But you know what? I had to work hard. It took me a lot of years to get that. I'm not anxious to give it up yet. If it looks bad, if it looks and tastes bad, it is. That is not true. That is not true. It's probably smart, but it's not necessarily true. Now the corn dog is fine. What else? I'm telling you, man. You can eat a 3 or 4 day old tuna sub in your pickup that got left in the heat. It's okay. It doesn't taste the same. The smell's a little off. The texture's wrong, but it's okay. I started to say something. Oh, I was going to mention I got some tomato plants this morning to put out. 3 months to lose my. Yeah. Well, John, I keep thinking if I keep losing teeth, I'm going to lose weight simply because I can't eat as much. But it's funny. You figure it out. Your mouth figures out a way to do it. Although a guy offered, Ryan went and got some beef jerky this morning from Mike's. It looked really good, and he offered me a piece of it, and I said no because I knew better. Food poisoning is a myth. Yes, it is, Cheryl. People who have food poisoning really just had a stomach virus. At least that's what I'm going with. Anyway, I got some tomato plants to put out. We're finally, it's a weird thing here in this part of Texas. You think it's time to get a garden in, and the weather gets warm, and you're like, oh crap, I should have had my garden in 3 weeks ago. And then we get a freeze and snow out of nowhere. We have, every part of the world has their own weird weather, but we have outrageous temperature swings. A normal day for us is a temperature swing of 30 to 40 degrees. So that means if it only gets up in the 70s during the daytime, there's a real good chance it's going to get down close to freezing at night, at least this time of year. So we're not, yeah, CO, you're in that part of the world. Never plant before Easter. Exactly. Didn't work this year. How do you mean that, Cheryl? I mean, planting before Easter would have been a bad thing. Yeah. Ben just posted a video. 3. Yeah, yeah, I believe it. You can cover them up and it helps, but that's the way it goes. Early March. Yeah, Bob, y'all are like in the banana belt down there, man. I'm surprised it ever even freezes there. Yeah, yeah, well, for sure, for sure. And that's the thing is a lot of people don't think about it. The soil temperature has to be a certain temperature. I think 60, 65 degrees. So you got to get the soil temperature up before you can even think about seeds germinating and do herbs. Yeah, for sure, Carol, for sure. Especially up there. Carroll is a couple hours even further north than I am. Carroll is further north than parts of Oklahoma, and um, they get winter even later than we do there. And when they get summertime, they get big time. That's for sure. 45. What? Oh, of course. Yeah, in Arizona, I guess you would. Wow. Wow. Tomatoes, nice. I haven't even. Yeah, I bought tomato. I bought 3 or 4 tomato plants and 1 pepper plant. I bought a cayenne pepper to put out. Got to get those going. John, it's good to see you, brother. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate that, man. You take care of yourself. Stay safe out there. You're in a pretty good place, but yeah, be careful, brother. Like to see a strawberry plant right in the middle of the greenhouse that survived the entire winter. The kale wasn't super surprising, but the strawberry was now. Already picking tomatoes. Wow, rub it in, Bob. Way to rub it in. Of course, I'm gathering eggs, so I got you on that one. But you'll catching up with me. Hey, Bob said that they got some chicks. Shauna got some baby chicks. He said she's been fascinated with them. He can't hardly get her to do anything. May not be exactly what he said, but something like that. um, CL, that doesn't surprise me that the strawberry made it because up in the mountains, the wild strawberries grow up there. I mean, like at 10,000 feet, and they get hammered on with snow and cold. And she okay, and they seem to survive okay. So no surprise. Man. There was something else I was going to mention and talk about, but I can't think what. I've got to get some videos posted. I've got so much video I've taken with my camera all the way from back last summer. I've still got tons. Hey, Bent, my brother, how are you, man? Good to see you, bud. Good to see you. I was just saying, I've got so much video that I need to get posted. I run into 2 things. One is time and motivation. I'll be so tired sometimes when I come in the evenings, I just don't care. And then I run into the thing of I've got something that I want to post, but I want to post something that's going to be really good, something I really like. And then I don't because I look at it, I'm like, man, nobody wants to see that crap. What I need to do, though, I got to get back, and I'm kind of talking to Christy in there as well. I need to get back to posting stuff for what I was originally doing it for, just to keep your mom and dad and some other relatives up to date so they can look and see what's going on and some of our friends, stuff we did with friends, that kind of thing, just so they can all see it and be able to have it to look at too. I need to get back to that and not worry about being Mr. YouTuber, that kind of junk. So, Bent, what's for lunch, brother? Got something? I don't have a bandana on, Aid. My hair was all nice and pretty this morning. No, I haven't gone out and I hadn't gotten into the middle of the nasty stuff. It'll be later. I got to go out to the feedlot and put some stuff in. I'll have a bandana on then, for sure. And I'm sorry. I know I'm all over the place with stuff this morning. Like I say, this wasn't planned and I didn't script any notes. I'm just talking about stuff. And EM, you are out, brother. Love back to you. And yeah, you just gave your best to Christy and Sarah. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Tacos. Good call. I like tacos. I like soft tacos better now. Surprise. What did you think was called? Chipper's funny. Did you catch it? Yes, it is to laugh. All right, you know what? I don't have anything else to talk about. I should probably just drop this. Now that I know it works, yes, they do, Bent. They go better with age. Sometimes they go better with beer too, but not always. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down here. I do have things I need to do. I may need to go to Lubbock today. I got to find out today. We got a humongous big project about to happen. Um, that I got to make sure I'm ready for. You thought of strawberries as one of the more delicate. When it comes to heat and dry, they're not very tolerant of that. But for wet and cold, I think they're very tolerant for that. I think they're very okay for that kind of thing. I think green leaves, yeah. Okay, cool, Ben. Yeah, I look forward to talking to you. I got lots of phone calls, lots of people I need to be calling and saying hi to, and I have just been too covered up with stuff and still dealing with kind of the emotional roller coaster of everything too. Some days I don't talk to anybody because I don't want to be a sad sack. I told somebody the other day, they said, you can call if you ever need to, and I know, but I don't want to be the guy that's always calling and whining, and people look at it and like, oh brother, it's him again. He's going to be upset and cry. I know people like that, and I see him, and I'm like, oh man, here comes Eeyore. He's going to bring everybody down. So I don't want to do that. But CL, thanks for being here. All of you, thank you for being here. It was good to visit with you. I love the live streams. I usually like being the one that's just listening and I can type and harass and do all that kind of stuff. It's weird having what feels like a one-sided conversation. I may not ever get quite to that. Bob, I will give a holler. I've been thinking about you the last couple of days. Like I say, been doing a lot of research and looking and thinking. So for sure, I'll holler at you probably here in a couple of hours, something like that. We'll do that. Carol, I'm glad you were here. I hope that y'all get some decent rain up there. Sneak down to the lake, go fishing. I wonder, is there any water lake? Is it low? Maybe not. Y'all have had rain. We hadn't, so who knows? Anyway, all right, that's it. I've said goodbye 100 times. Now I'm one of those people that says they're leaving and they don't get out the door. So I'm going to bum rush myself out the door. Thank y'all. Good to see all of you. I love all of you. I truly do, man. A lot of really good people that I care about here and have a lot of respect for. Truly, truly. All right, man. I will. Now that this was the easiest. This was completely easy to do. Now that I know it's that easy, I may jump on here every once in a while, middle of the day, something like that. When there's not some interesting people to listen to, at least there'll be something. Just everybody can say hi. So I will look forward to seeing whatever videos y'all put out and hearing your thoughts and talk to you soon. Much love to everybody. Cheers. In stream. Yes, I'm sure.